What's going on, guys? Today we are going to be doing another product install. This time it's going to be on a 2024 SeaDoo GTR 230, and we're going to be installing the Riptide Technologies ram air ducts. We're going to be installing these on the side of the GTR here. Just going to get a little side cover, and I think what we're going to end up doing is mounting them just about in this area. We'll see. I want to try to get a nice flat spot on the hull. We'll see, somewhere in this area. But basically these will just help direct air into the back of the ski here. As you guys know, I've made a few videos on improving the airflow inside the ski, getting better performance. It's no secret that these holes are pretty sealed off. There's very limited amount of airflow. So anything that we can do to introduce more air to the engine is a plus. So today we're going to be installing these vents here, and as you can see, we do have covers on these. Let me try to get this off while I'm doing that, and just like that, we'll get some fresh air that's going into the back of the ski. Now, just give a backstory on these vents. A lot of people, you know, I have to preface this by saying that riding styles for everyone is completely different. So if you are the kind of person that's going to be wave jumping every weekend, these are not the vents for you. If you're the kind of person that wants a completely stock ski, you don't want to change anything, and whatever the ski does you're happy with, these are not the vents for you. But if you are the kind of person that's chasing performance, you want to try to optimize as much as you can, there's no secret. You need to get additional ventilation into the ski. Doesn't matter how you do it. You can lift the engine access cover, you can drill holes in the side, you can put more ventilation holes up at the front, you can completely just take the seat off, or this is another option to, you know, it's a stylish option at that. We'll have these vents going on the side of the ski here, and you know, it's not a major hole, it's only about an inch or so, but it's additional airflow that's going to get directed, in this case, to the rear air intake. Now, of course, some of you will probably say, well, why would you ever want to do that? Because if you sink the ski, or if it starts to take on water, you're going to be putting air or water directly into the intake. Sure, but the counter argument to that is, if you have water up this high, then you probably should not be running your engine anyway, because you're probably already taking on water. So I've installed these on a ski in the past. If you are, you know, just out cruising or racing or whatever, you're going to be perfectly fine with these vents. A lot of people like these. You certainly get the additional airflow aspect covered. Personally, I really like the idea of introducing air at the front of the ski. And if I can get air into the back of the ski directly, I'm all for it. You know, like I said in other videos, there is a substantial performance gain from introducing fresh air into your ski. It doesn't have to be directly into the air intake. It just needs to be somewhere at some point for the engine to be able to pull air in, because the stock configuration is very, very restrictive. In fact, on this ski, this is your air intake. So you can see, I mean, it's immediately covered by the latch cover mechanism. So once this is sealed, you have about ½ an inch for air to pass through, make its way down into the intake here. And there's stuff in the storage compartment, so I can't show you, but that corrugated tubing will go down, passes through under the intake, and it just kind of dumps off in the back. Now, your air intake box is up here. So if you had a completely stock ski, you would be pulling air from that tube, which goes under the intake manifold, goes up into the air box, and in the air box there's an opening on the front. It's about a 2 or 3 inch opening, and that's where it's pulling in air from. So it's a very, very restrictive system, and it's like that by design, because, you know, SeaDoo has to design the skis to be as water resistant as possible. They're covering a very wide range of riders. They're not exactly sure what the riders are going to be doing. If the person flips their ski and it takes on water, they want to be able to compensate for that. So that's the compromise. But if you want to maximize performance, you need to introduce fresh air. And that's what we're going to be doing here today. Now, this ski is not tuned. It's a 230, so the top speed is around 64 miles per hour or so. I've installed vents like these on another GTR, and we were able to get around 65 miles per hour. If you want to see what your ski is capable of speed-wise with some ventilation mods, the easiest thing you could do is remove the seats, and if you get any additional RPM, if you get better throttle response, or if you get better top speed, there's a pretty good chance that you will benefit from ventilation mods. Now, the SeaDoo GTR 230, you can tune it. There's no speed override that can be done because 65 miles per hour or so is pretty much the max of what the engine can handle in the stock form. So really doing this mod, we're probably going to gain that 1 mile per hour that I've seen in the past, but we're also going to get a better throttle response because we don't have that initial choking effect that the supercharger will experience when we have no additional ventilation. So this will be definitely a nice modification for this ski. So I'm going to get this kind of staged up here. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to install these yet, so I already have some templates ready to go to mimic what we need to do for this cutout. So I'm going to get that ready, and then I'll show you what I come up with. All right, guys, I just spoke to the owner, and we decided we are going to mount the vent in the top spot right here. It's nice and flat. We can match the body lines, but more importantly, it's going to be in a higher spot. We're not too concerned about water intrusion, but you know, if it's down here and the footwells fill up with water, it's going to be an entry point. So we'll go up higher just like this, and the other benefit is with it up in that spot, it will be kind of more secluded, so you're not going to see it from the inside, which is good because you won't be banging into it or anything. So plus it gives easy access to install and remove the caps, so if he ever decides to go wave jumping in the ocean, we can easily cap those off when we're doing anti-corrosion spray and all that stuff. So I'm going to get this traced out here just like that. I'm just going to do a marker trace, and then I'm going to find out which hole saw I want to use to get this started. And same thing as before, we're going to mark this all out with painter's tape just so we don't damage the hole in any way, and we'll see how that goes. Here's our tracing so far. So the way I want to do this is I'm going to use a hole saw bit on the 4 corners just to get the curve, and then I'm going to do the straightaways using my oscillating tool. So to match the curve, I have a 30mm hole saw bit that I'm going to use on the back here. It's a 30mm hole, so I'm not sure if it comes up on camera, but you can see that is a perfect curve there. And then for the front, which is slightly less of a aggressive slope, we are going to be using a 44mm, which you can see lines up perfectly there. So I'm going to go ahead and knock out the 4 holes first, and then I'll use the oscillating tool just to get the clean straightaways, and then we'll go ahead and start from there. We have our hole all drilled out. Lots and lots of fiberglass, so make sure you are doing this outside or at least have a mask on. So that's it there. I got it to a pretty tight fit. Let me see if I can get this in one shot. I might have to do this off camera. Yeah, I'll get it off camera, but as you can see, it does look absolutely fantastic there. I have the cover on for now, the cap, but I will remove it once everything is all finished up here. But I'm going to go ahead and put the backing plates on, which will let me bolt it so it's all nice and tight, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. And there it is. It looks absolutely incredible installed. Does not take up too much space at all. We have easy access to the back to put on the cap if we wanted to. But that's it. So mesh is great with the body line. I got it right above the sticker going straight down, so this is looking really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. I'll mark it so that I get it the exact same spot going across, and then I'll show you what it looks like when that side's finished as well. guys, there we have it. That is the completed install for the Riptide Technologies ram air vents on this 2024 SeaDoo GTR. So obviously I still have to clean it up. There is fiberglass everywhere, but I have a feeling the owner is going to love this setup. They're on there nice and tight, very nice shine to them. I think they match with this color scheme perfectly, and like I said, I kept the vent covers off for now, just because the owner does ride in a river around here, so it's mostly just straightaways where performance is what matters. So we'll see how that goes for now. But just to summarize, these vents are more for the top speed enthusiasts, people are trying to get as much power out of their ski as they can. Obviously, if you are just a recreational rider, or if you are someone who's going to be going wave jumping, these are probably not for you. Or if you do want to install them, you would just keep the caps on. But this is for people that are trying to get as much ventilation to their ski as possible. Of course, I've had a couple videos now discussing the various methods of introducing fresh air into the hole. This is just another one of those methods. So there's plenty of options for people out there. And if you are interested, I will post the link to these in my description. But very easy to install. I know it's dark out now, but I didn't get started on these until around 7 o'clock, and it is 8:30 now. So I would say total install time for these is about, I would say, an hour and a half. It took me an hour and a half, and that's with me doing all the recording and all that stuff. So really not that hard at all. I'll post the sizing for the tools and everything that I use as well if you guys are interested. But other than that, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I will get back to you.